Good morning, my family and friends. So it's Saturday morning. There's my pets. So we have a little bit of a craziness here, but we're starting to get flowers in our flower beds finally. It's kind of funny how they're slow and then all of a sudden they just kind of pop. So things are coming along. I think I showed this. Yeah, I showed you guys this last week. So our flowers are growing over here. Pete has put grass seed down here, and we've got this partitioned off so blue can't go in the garden, and seed has a chance to take off. And it's growing, so that's good. So we'll have better grass this year. So things are just growing. I haven't really done, haven't really planted a bunch of new. This is the Kajari Melon, and definitely getting melons. So, and it's pretty loaded with melons. Have a armadillo coming in, and he got into my flowers again. I don't know how he gets in this bed, but he does get in this bed. Been harvesting cucumbers, flowers. The zinnias are just really popping. And the grapes we netted because, of course, the birds would like to eat them all. But they're growing. It's pretty loaded. So we're going to have grapes this year. Potatoes, we have potatoes. I actually dug down a little bit to look at things, but they're still growing. And as long as they're growing, I'm not going to pull them. So I'm going to wait until the foliage dies back more. I mean, it's just like so big, but it's still putting on green growth. So as long as it's growing, it means potatoes are growing. I'm getting lots of summer squash, and we've been eating a lot of summer squash. I've made summer squash bread, and I actually beat the vine borers, which I was pretty proud of myself. I've been injecting BT into the stems, and it's completely organic. It's just a bacteria that if a wormy thing eats it kills them and dries them up, but they have to eat it. So anyway, I'm kind of happy about that. This is just a different kind of cucumber that I planted. Onions are harvested and they're drying. They're in the garage and in the barn. So garlic is getting really close. It's pretty good size, but it's not separated cloves yet. So I'm kind of waiting for that. Tomatoes out here, I really don't even have any fruit set out here. I've got a lot of flowers. These are mostly just volunteer zinnias. I did not plant these, but we had zinnias here last year, and so we have zinnias. The beans are actually starting to do better. I think that really hot weather so quick was hard on them, but now it's hot, but it's not. It's just been kind of consistently hot. I've got, what are they called? Loofahs in here because we're actually using them. And so I decided to plant some more loofahs, and that's some dill. The eggplant is starting to take off. So I just have 3 plants this year, and it's the Ichiban, it's the long skinny ones. So hopefully we'll get a good amount of eggplant, and we really like them. So in here I've got some bell peppers, and there's some tomatoes and basil, and I'm cutting the basil back because it's just getting way too big. More tomatoes. I always have more tomatoes. More peppers. I've planted a lot of peppers this year. And this is the spaghetti squash, and it's looking pretty fabulous. I'm out here checking on bugs every day, multiple times. And I've got some more beans going here. And I decided beans do best on these teepees. That's just how I've had the most success with them. Another summer squash that's actually doing really good, and I see I've got fruit there that I need to harvest. Carrots, and I'm going to start harvesting carrots today. And beets, I'm going to go through and I'm going to harvest all the large beets. We took 9 jars of pickled beets down to the winery, and they sold out in 2 days. And they sold for $9 a pint. So pretty funny. I've got some carrots coming up here. And sweet potatoes are doing really good. So we're kind of excited about having sweet potatoes. Hollyhocks, they really last a long time, and I've really, really enjoyed them. Horseradish is going crazy. The ginger actually looks pretty decent, so I'm hoping to get ginger this year. The Shishito Peppers are also just kind of crazy. I have 4 plants, and I'm harvesting quite a bit. We took some to a friend, and he was pretty thrilled with them. So that's kind of a fun one. And there's my cat inside the okra. I don't know why he does that, but he does. He just like sits around. I think he likes the shade. So the okra, the chickens love it. So I'm giving a lot to the chickens. There's my garlic, and it looks pretty good. Empty space. This garlic just didn't come up properly. More peppers. I actually did a lot of peppers this year because I like drying them. I like chopping up and freezing them, and they're super easy. So, and we do pickled peppers also. I still have a bunch of stuff here that I got to throw away. Oh, I forgot to show my cabbage. The cabbage outside is getting big, so we're going to harvest it and make sauerkraut. So in here, this is actually kind of exciting. So Pete took a cutting from our fig tree, and it is growing. He did a bunch of cuttings, and most of them not so much. But this one is growing. So we've got just a lot of tomatoes, nothing ripe, but there's pretty much tomatoes everywhere, and they're getting heavy and they're getting hard for the trellising. But we do have lots and lots of tomatoes. These are ones that I did from cuttings, and so now they're starting to bloom. So I'll have more of a hybrid variety that. And this is just falling down, big mess, but I'm going to harvest these. I mean, these are these great big super sauce, and I'll get them harvested, and then I will cut these plants back and let them regrow, because they'll grow back up. Our growing season lasts for such a long time. But they, I think they're starting, some of them, I've got a couple that are starting to blush, but so far I have not had a tomato, and I really want one. I've got an empty bed there where I took the Swiss chard out, and I haven't figured out what I'm going to plant there. This is San Marzano tomatoes. So yeah, just a lot of tomatoes. So here's that big tomato that I've shown a few times, and it is, it's huge. It's a very large tomato, and this is a variety that does these big giant sauce tomatoes. So I have some new varieties this year that I hadn't tried before. And cherry tomatoes we got one starting to get ripe. So, and it's got quite a few bunches on it. So we'll start having cherry tomatoes in the next maybe week, I would say. That's kind of about it. Just things growing. The little chick is getting big, and she or he we'll figure out in the next probably couple weeks what it is. I don't know where the chickens are. There they are. They're back there. They're back there in the shade. They spend a lot of time in the shade, but I don't see the mama. But the mama is laying eggs again, and she really wants to spend the night in the coop. But the baby, we kind of tried one night, and the baby will get up on the roosting board, but it wants to sleep on top of the mama. And that doesn't really work. And the other chickens got kind of irritated with it. And it's still fairly small, so I don't want it to get all pecked to death. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. Hope everything's good for y'all. And I will talk to you soon, I hope. Bye.